There's a reason everybody is now into Looksmaxing. Everyone's getting into peptides. It's not just a slight trad or a slight wave. I think that it's something that's here to stay. And the reason it got so popular and trending in the first place, excuse the birds, I think they're just chirping out for joy, but I think the reason this got so popular in the first place is because many people are looking to not be average, right? We look at so many different aspects of someone when we first meet them. We look at people based off their first impression. So that goes off what their appearance, right? The way they look, their height, their stature, their demeanor. Like those are things we can deem and basically have judgment of someone, off the first meet, the first impression of someone. But when we get into looks maxing and peptides, which we hear all on social media now, like looks maxing itself, and one of the guys that started this whole thing was Clavicular. He promoted the idea of being able to look better, being able to look better than someone else, and try to, absolutely optimize in that metric itself, right? So whether that's based off your skin, your facial structure, and going to the extreme, right? So if he had to get surgery, he would do it. And a lot of people don't really apply these metrics, or they can't understand it. Some people do. But what I want to get at is you have to be able to optimize every metric of your life, not just in your looks, not just in the way, you talk to someone, but your behavior, your connection and relationship spiritually with God. And that's what will really keep you grounded, right, as a person. Because it's the same thing. If you start going into peptides, I take peptides myself. All I don't take any crazy peptides. I don't need retatrutide, that's a popular one for fat loss or anything like that. All I take is GHKCU, which helps your hair and skin. And that's just for me personally. That's what I do. But when you start getting into certain things and you don't consider moderation or your boundaries, you start to lose yourself, right? And that's the issue, is when people start to lose themselves in the manner where they don't know exactly what they want to achieve or where they want to go. If you're not consistently training, if you're not working, trying to make income, trying to have a skill set on the side, trying to start maybe a business for yourself or something, you want in the future, you have to start building it now, right? And everything is balanced. Like, I used to be the person that I used to go into something, whether it was I was trying to looks max, and I would do it for like 1 to 2 months, and I would really try to, focus on it, but I would forget everything else. I wouldn't be praying. I would literally forget about just like keeping a relationship with God, because that's number one. I would reject other priorities in my life that are important for my future. And I think a lot of people, they could fall in the same path, or they're really deep into that path where they're doing the same thing in terms of letting go of other things to focus on one simple complex. You have to think of everything as a whole, right? So when you're trying to improve yourself, I understand everyone wants to look better. Everyone wants to achieve a certain look. They want to go, have the six pack, have this amount of muscle and whatnot. You have to be able to train. You have to be able to go to the gym. You have to be able to, put yourself out there. You want to start talking to people, you have to improve your social skills. You have to start talking to people. I used to be, the kid, I didn't really talk to people that much, right? Because I was confident, but I didn't have the sense of like self-esteem to be like, oh, my opinion really mattered that much, when in reality everyone's opinion matters to an extent. You just have to be confident enough to say it out loud and to their face, right? Because that's when people take you serious, is when you say it in a certain manner, and you're confident about what you say. People take it in a certain manner. So when you're talking to someone, whether you're talking day to day, you give someone a compliment. You say, hey, I like this, what's your name, how are you doing today? Simple things like that. That's just going to help you build over time. And it correlates with everything else, right? If you're trying to get to a certain standpoint where, you know, and I think looks maxing and peptides and all this stuff, if you're going really deep into it, it can be a form of self narcissism, where you're trying to look better than everyone else. You're trying to, you know, create the ideal fact that you are better than most of the population. You're better than this person. Dude, I'm 6'4". I never look at someone shorter than me, or people tell me, oh, like, bro, you're so tall, you're this. People will give you compliments. That's fine, no problem. I never look at someone that's shorter than me and say, oh, I'm better than this person, or someone that's skinnier than me and say, oh, like, this guy, he's like useless piece of shit, right? I make jokes sometimes. That's fine. I'm a dude. I'm gonna make some funny jokes, but I'm never gonna be like deep in my heart and be like, oh, this guy, he's a fucking loser. If I see you at the gym and you're trying to get better, you're a dude who doesn't have much muscle, I'm gonna tell you, bro, like, hey, keep it up, you know, keep going what you're doing. It's gonna pay off. You know, you have to give people compliments, because not everyone is self-confident, and you don't have to really care about that. I do it for the simple fact that I should love another person. Why not? You should love another human being, right? The chances of being born are 1 in 400 trillion. Like, that's such a small fucking number. It's basically impossible to determine how, you know, someone would be born, right? Because it's basically a lottery ticket, right? To hit, you know, $1 billion. So you have to be able to have those feelings, share that same compassion, and everything will be smooth. But when people start to get into a mindset where they have to compete constantly, it's constant competition. Life is competition. I'm not saying that it isn't. In reality, yes, we look at someone else and we're thinking, oh, I'm better than that person. How am I better than that person? I look better than them. I speak better than them. I dress better than them, right? I do all these things, you know, and you could even say, hey, I'm a nicer guy. I give more money to the people in need. I do these things. I do that. Do not compare yourself. When you start comparing yourself, that's when you go into a spiral, because you have to be comparing yourself to the person you used to be, right? And it's good, and this is why it's very good to hang around with people who have the same mindset as you, and you can grow, and you're comparing within each other of all the things you should be within that group, because you guys are close connected, you guys are well knitted, you guys understand when you should push each other, because you guys have a connection, right? You have a relationship to be able to do that. When you're doing that with other people, it's basically a form of being a narcissist, right? And you can have similar ideologies and similar concepts to a narcissist, but you can't be a narcissist, because that's just saying, oh, like, fuck everyone else, I'm better than them, right? And you have this massive ego, and you're always gonna feel like a void inside of you, because I've tried that. I've tried to be like, I'm the fucking man, I'm better than you, I'm this, I'm that, and you just get humbled, and your ego, your self-worth gets shattered like very quick when you start to think like that. So if any of you guys train like combat sports, MMA, I do myself, jiu-jitsu, Muay Thai, there's always going to be someone that's going to be able to submit you, right? They're going to be able to take you down, whatever it is, or get you into submission, and you're going to tap. You're going to say, I quit, basically. That's a form of telling the other person, like, you've beat me, I've lost. So if you're able to take those losses, and that happens to me all the time, and I do it to people all the time, that's life. That's a sport. That's a game of life. So if you're able to move on past those losses, past the wins, even when you submit someone, there's always going to be someone else that's going to come up bigger than you, stronger than you, more technical than you, that's going to be able to defeat you in any way possible. You just know, okay, I have to get better. And you're in a constant race, a constant struggle within yourself to think, okay, I need to improve. But your intention should be to improve for yourself, right? Not to fucking kill the other person, not to beat the other person, but your intention should be for yourself, for your own good, for your own strength, for your own looks, right? For your own physical and mental well-being, because you want to compete, right? Like I said, it's a competition, but you have to be able to compete within yourself.